Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All goes Sri Rupa Guru Maharaj. Radha and Mati, when you're ready, can start Mataji.
Hare Krishna to all dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Chaiva Narottamam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 16, The Two Doorkeepers of Vaikunta, Jaya and Vijaya, cursed by the sages. Text 25. Text 25. O Lord, whatever punishment you wish to award to these two innocent persons or also to us, we shall accept without duplicity. We understand that we have cursed two faultless persons. Text 26. The Lord replied, O Brahmanas, know that the punishment you inflicted on them was originally ordained by me, and therefore they will fall to a birth into a demonic family, but they will be firmly united with me in thought through the mental concentration intensified by anger, and they will return to my presence shortly. Text 27. Lord Brahma said, after seeing the Lord of Vaikunta, the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the self illuminated Vaikunta planet, the sages left that transcendental abode. Text 28. The sages circumambulated the Supreme Lord, offered their obeisances, and returned extremely delighted at the learning of the divine opulence of the Vaishnavas. Text 29. The Lord then said to his attendants, Jaya and Vijaya, depart this place, but fear not, all glories unto you. Though I am capable of nullifying the Brahmana's curse, I would not do so. On the contrary, it has my approval. Text 30th. This departure, this departure from Vaikunta was foretold by Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune. She was very angry because when she left my abode and then returned, you stopped her at the gate while I was sleeping. Text 31. The Lord assured the two Vaikunta inhabitants, Jaya and Vijaya, by practicing the mystic yoga system in anger, you will be cleansed of the sins of the disobey the Brahmanas and within the very short time return to me. Text 32. After thus speaking at the door of Vaikunta, the Lord returned to his abode, where there are many celestial aeroplanes and all surpassing wealth and splendor. Text 33. But those two gatekeepers, the best of the demigods, their beauty and luster, diminished by the curse of the Brahmanas, became morose and fell from the Vaikunta, the abode of the Supreme Lord. Text 34. Then, as Jaya and Vijaya fell from the Lord above, a great roar of disappointment arose from all the demigods who were sitting in their splendid aeroplanes. Text 35. Lord Brahma continued, those two principal doorkeepers of the personality of Godhead have now entered the womb of Diti, the powerful semen of the Kashyapa Muni having covered them. Text 36. It is the purvas of these twin asuras, demons, that has disturbed you, for it has minimized your power. There is no remedy within my power. However, for it is the Lord Himself who desired to do all this. Text 37. My dear sons, the Lord is the controller of the three modes of nature and is responsible for the creation preservation, and the dissolution of the universe. His wonderful creative power, Yoga Maya, cannot be easily understood even by the master of yoga, that most ancient person, the personality of Godhead, will alone come to our rescue. What purpose can we serve on his behalf by deliberating on the subject? Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of third canto, 16th chapter, Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Two Doorkeepers of Vaikuntha, Jaya and Vijaya, cursed by the sages. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you very much, Madhi. Hare Krishna. Sri Krishna Prabhu, when are you ready, you can start, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhu. If you can share the screen also, Prabhuji.
Sure, Prabhuji.
कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। वैराग्यविद्यानिजभक्तियोगं शिक्षाश्रमेकं पुरुषपुराणं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यशरीरधारी कृपाम्बुदितमहं प्रपद्ये। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So yesterday we have seen how the four Kumaras were glorifying the Vaikuntanath, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And after receiving his darshan, they were so pacified and they were smelling the lotus feet, the tulasi leaves, and they become personalists. And they glorified the lordships to their heart content. And then finally, in the verse number 25 today, they were saying that they were almost saying, the Lord, please forgive us for giving the punishment to your doorkeepers, your devotees. Whatever you wish to punish them, it is okay with us. And they were actually basically saying that it was a big mistake committed by us. And they were now saying that they were faultless. These two are actually faultless. So now Prabhupada is making a point that so in Bhagavad Gita, like Krishna says, that my devotees are always, considered to be saintly because they are engaged in unalloyed devotion. Api cheta sujuracharo bhajate mam ananyabhak sadhureva samantavya samyak bhavashito hisa. So just like Krishna says, here also Prabhupada is confirming the purport that because these devotees are engaged in the service of the Lord, sometimes even the mistakes has to be overseen. So and generally here in Vaikuntha, this consciousness of lower modes does not actually enter, but here it is a special situation that Lord himself actually desired this pastime. So now verse number 26, Lord is speaking, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. The Lord actually is saying that, O Brahmanas, the punishment that the curse that you have given, it was originally ordained by me only. He was so he took the whole situation, the whole pastime was created by the Lord. And now the Lord is saying that these two, Jaya and Vijaya, will be, even though they will go to the material world, but they will be concentrating on me, intensified by anger. And then they will quickly return to my presence. So don't, he's kind of giving them a replies, saying that don't worry about, what you did. It was originally created by me only. And they will come back soon to this Vaikuntha planet again. So So again, from this verse, what we can understand is Vaikuntha planets are purely spiritual. Like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yadgatva na nivartante tad dhamma paramam mamam. Like once somebody enters these planets, they don't return to material world. So such is the the place, glories. And this pastime, the Lord wants to exchange with chivalrous pastimes like fighting spirit. So for these pastimes, Lord chooses specific devotees so that in the material world he can exchange that fighting spirit with his own devotees. So the Lord being Bhakta Vatsalya, like even fighting also he does only with his devotees, so in the material world, so when he comes to this material world, some of his devotees take the role of on the opposite side and they actually fight with the Lord. So Jaya and Vijaya were, in that situation now. And also in the spiritual world, there is complete harmony. There is no chivalrous pastimes of the Lord. So if he has to exchange such pastimes, the Lord has to come down to the material world, in order to exchange such pastimes. So that was the reason why now the Lord is Jaya and Vijaya is actually being cursed and sent to the material world. They will take multiple incarnations like like Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, then Ravana, Kumbhakarna. So all of these pastimes they exchange chivalrous fighting with the Lord, like Lord Rama and Lord Krishna. So and then here finally Lord Brahma is concluding that Brahma Vacha. So after seeing the Lord in the Vaikuntha, the sages, they are now preparing to leave this transcendental abode. So here it said Swayam Prabhum. Swayam Prabham is like the self-illuminating place. So just like in Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says that Natat Bhashayate Shurya Sashanka na Pavakaha. Like this place is not illuminated by sun or moon. It is self-illuminated. Right? So similarly, so here also the transcendental abode of Supreme Personality of Godhead is completely self-illuminated. And now they are preparing to leave, the sages preparing to leave. Now they are doing a circumambulation, parikramya, Bhagavantam parikramya, like they're doing a parikrama of the Supreme Lord. So they physically, Lord is present, and the sages are doing parikrama of the Lord before they actually leaving. So now also Prabhupada makes a point, like even now in the temples also devotees do parikrama, and this is the etiquette that is followed from time immemorial. 3 times in the temple. And then these attendants, Jaya and Vijaya, so now the Lord himself is saying that, okay, do not fear, now they are leaving the spiritual world and they are actually entering into another material world. Do not fear. And the Lord is giving them blessings. So Brahma Teja Samarthopi, he's saying, so all glories unto you. So now do not fear, even though I can take away this curse Brahma Tejas, but I would not do so because it is under my approval. You are actually going to this leaving this spiritual world, entering into material world. So now again Prabhupada makes a point that the sages the sages could not get angry in the Vaikuntha planet, nor the Lord can neglect the doorkeepers. Both of these could not happen, but still it happened because it was under the approval of the Lord. So that so that is why what we are seeing here. So and then the Lord is also giving them blessings. So another point made by Prabhupada here is like, once you are under the shelter of the Lord in the Vaikuntha planets, nothing can happen without his approval. So everything happens by his approval. So here again, these devotees leaving also is under his approval. So now this another thing the Lord is saying here is that there was another pastime that Lakshmi ji was telling, that how this departure from Vaikuntha happened, and when the Lord was actually sleeping, when when the Lakshmi Jis tried to enter, these doorkeepers stopped at the door. So and then that provoked anger in her heart. And this was again, this was another pastime that was originally foretold by Lakshmi ji. So now, now the Lord assuring that, okay, this Jaya and Vijaya, you will be, you will come back quickly, and by following the mystic yoga system in anger, you will be purified of the sin of disobeying the Brahmanas. And so here again it says that Kalena Alpaishu Punaha, like very short time, in due course of time, you'll come back quickly. So, so again, here Prabhupada makes elaborate details on the dint of Bhakti Yoga in anger. So here Prabhupada makes a point that the power of Bhakti Yoga can actually purify any situation. So how these here they are actually the Jaya and Vijaya, they were actually in enmity with the Lord. They were remembering the Lord in enmity, and they are doing basically smarana. They're purifying their whole existence. So, but here Prabhupada, on the contrary, makes a point that Bhakti Yoga is practiced in 5 primary rasas and then 7 secondary rasas. So, but these 5 primary rasas is what devotees practice. But in Srimad Bhagavatam, it mentions that kamam, krodam, bayam. So even if somebody out of lust, out of anger, out of fear also, they approach the Lord, still they get purified. So that was the point Prabhupada makes here. And then the verse number 32, and so after the Lord speaks, now they are preparing to leave the Vaikuntha planet. The Lord actually returned to his abode. So now again, the whole pastimes is happening just at the entrance of the Vaikuntha planet. So it's not even the core of the Vaikuntha, it seems. It's only the entrance that Prabhupada makes a point also. So the sages, the 4 Kumaras, did not actually fully enter the planet. They only, stayed at the gate entrance only, and then now they return back to the material world. So now the actual falling down from the spiritual world is also mentioned here. Like, so now these two Jaya and Vijaya, their bodily features were diminishing. They were Girvana Rishabha. They were like described as the best of the demigods. And then they were Hatastriyaha. So like their all the beauty were diminishing. And then from the curse of the Brahmanas, and they become morose. And they just now they fell from the Vaikuntha planet. So as Tada Vikunta Dishanath, so like as they were falling down from the abode, there were some signs that were happening to the demigods. So the demigods, they were feeling a lot of disappointment in their hearts. And when they were sitting in their splendid aeroplanes, they were feeling that disappointment. So here, so it is mentioned that the demigods were very morose, and now Lord Brahma, it continued now. Now Lord Brahma is saying, these two Parshada, Pravaro Hare, so these two associates of the Lord, doorkeepers of the Lord, now entered the womb of Diti. So now the Kashyapa Muni is the father and now entered the womb. Diter Jatara Nirvishtam. So now, now Brahma is, coming back to the point that the demigods came and actually compliant to him. All of this darkness is surrounding us. Please, save us from this danger. So now Brahma gave the whole situation, the whole background, the beautiful descriptions of the spiritual world. So on one side, Brahma is saying that we should always talk of the glories of the Supreme Lord and the Vaikuntha planet. And then now on the other side, Brahma is also giving the reason why you are experiencing this darkness. So, and and then so now Brahma is again so he is pointing out that this is Lord's original desire to have this two doorkeepers appear in the material world in the son of Diti, and it is now see he's trying to point out that okay, it is not in my control in this situation to contract my situation. Again, Prabhupada is pointing out about the Garbhadana Samskara and the purport that in the Vedic scriptures, Garbhadana Samskara is mentioned. If the mind of the father is not sober, then the semen that is discharged is not very good. So the living entity is like a living entity is wrapped in the matter produced by the father and mother. So in this case, here Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha were actually being conceived by Diti. So, so now again Brahma is saying that these two asuras, Tayor Asurayor Adya, it's like these two asuras, it is because of them your power has been minimized. So demigod's power has been minimized. And then Brahma is acknowledging that within my powers there is no remedy. So however, for Lord himself is desiring all this. So now finally again Brahma is giving like directly the answer to demigods. He's not hiding anything, like he's not, bluffing anything, or even though he's so powerful, he's the leader of all the demigods. Now he's plainly saying, okay, it is not under my power, it's the Lord's, is directly involved in this pastimes. So here again, we can see how Lord Brahma is very transparent. So, and then so Prabhupada also makes a point that Brahma is elaborating the situation created by the darkness, and also saying that's a desire of the Supreme Lord. And also he is elaborating the whole pastimes because he wanted to demigods to understand the the beauty of the spiritual world, and also the power of the Supreme Lord, that no one can actually surpass the power of the Supreme Lord. So all that Brahma is trying to make the demigods understand. And now the verse number 37. So now Brahmaji is saying that my dear sons, so we're addressing them very sweetly now. So he's saying that Lord is, Lord is actually the control of three modes of nature and is responsible for creation, preservation, and dissolution. So, so basically, Brahmaji is saying the Lord's Yogamaya Shakti cannot be easily understood. Even great masters of yoga, they cannot be easily understood. So finally, Lord only will rescue us from this situation. We cannot actually deliberate on this and understand how he is going to solve the situation, or how we can solve the situation. Basically, Lord's pastimes are very complex to understand. How he's making all the arrangements. He is also taking care of creation, maintenance, and dissolution. So how he is doing all this, and what situation is what kind of pastimes is involved in this, it's very difficult to understand. So that is the conclusion that Brahmaji is making. So, and here Prabhupada makes a pastime of Haridas Thakur. So when something is arranged by the Supreme Lord, one should not be disturbed by it, even if it appears to be a reverse according to one's calculation. So, for example, sometimes we see that a powerful preacher is killed, or sometimes he is put into difficulty. So he's describing the Haridas Thakur's pastime here. Like we all know, Haridas Thakur was born in a Mohammedan family. But he was practicing Krishna consciousness. He was always chanting the Lord's holy name. So he was so much involved in chanting that practically he was chanting the whole day. So almost 192 rounds. So he was a Namacharya, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to love him so much. But he was put into so much difficulty by a Mohammedan king that he was punished to be beaten in so many marketplaces. But here Prabhupada is saying that these tribulations, like Jesus Christ was crucified, Prahlad Maharaj was punished by his own father. The Pandavas were friends of Krishna, but still they were punished and they lost their kingdom. They went through so many troubles. But we should not be disturbed by all this. We should simply understand that this is basically the plan of the Supreme Lord. So this is a Bhagavatam's conclusion is also that a devotee is never disturbed by reversals. So Brahmaji also says this in his own prayers, Tattenu Kampartham, like he is saying that a devotee who is actually suffering in this material world without, by by not being worried, and he is taking it as a blessing of the Lord and performing his bhakti, Brahmaji says that he has actually earned his right place in the Vaikuntha. So that again here Prabhupada is also making a point, because it was ordered by the Lord will actually take care. That was Brahmaji's conclusion. And even though Lord Brahma was a great devotee, he was able to understand the plan of the Lord, but here still he is taking very humble position, and he is basically giving this message to demigods. Yeah, Hare Krishna. That concludes today's verse. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Sri Krishna Prabhu. Let's have our obeisances. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Sri Prabhupada ki jai. Vanchakalpatarubhesya Kripasindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah. Thank you so much, Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.